It's Wednesday, October 12th, and I'm really feeling the sun's activity. We've had some X flares, some meteors consecutively over the last few days, is slamming past the planet. The sun is doing some incredibly intense stuff. The radiation is hitting us. And I'm really feeling it today. I'm very nauseated. Last night I had to jump out of bed at several points in time because I just was hit with an incredible amount of energy from the inside out. Whereas before, I usually have a lot of trouble staying conscious because of the need to go into my other experiences outside this avatar body. So I'm constantly going with the flow during the day of that, which means I have to take naps when I'm commanded. It's kind of how I would like to frame it, because it's not like that I'm tired. It's literally that my consciousness has to, I literally have to leave this body at that moment. So I will lay down and take naps. I have trouble staying conscious fully 24/7 in this avatar body. But last night it shifted, and like I said, I was awakened being hit with a strong energetic electrical field. And then today I'm just highly nauseated. I don't feel compelled to lay down and lose consciousness for an hour or two yet. Don't feel compelled at all in any way. So just wanted to make that notation of the shift of the energy. Yeah, so I needed to go and finish up my morning chores with the animals before the sun got any hotter. The radiation is too much for me on a day-to-day lately. And I almost like was ready to lose consciousness out there. I felt the same way as I did a month back when I guess I want to refer to it as I had a heat stroke down in the corral. But it actually was on a lower temperature day than it was during our heat wave. And when the media said we were having a heat wave, we had already been having a heat wave for a while. So I mean, they just chose to have a special event of their fear porn, but and have another reason why, the energy bills are going to be jacked up. And when that happened, I literally, as I was doing my chores with the animals, I felt like I was about to pass out, and I said to myself, "Oh my gosh, I feel like I'm going to pass out." And then sure enough, I did. And I can pretend it's dehydration or not eating enough, but like I drink 3 to 4 liters of water a day, and I have trained myself to live on very little, small amounts of food every day. And sometimes, like when my body needs to eat more, I will. But generally speaking, since 9/11, basically, that was like a red flag for me that we were moving into this next cycle. And I didn't realize the rollout, if you will, was going to be so long and arduous, with false starts everywhere and a beta testing to boot, a beta testing period. I would say from 2008 to 2016 was their beta testing, and they were beta testing all this stuff, trying to fly pandemics out there, and censorship and targeting and division and all kinds of stuff. So when they, did trigger this live event, just after their event 201 in New York, look these things up if you don't know. Google event 201. And remember, it was in October of 2019. So yeah, the live event shit hitting the fan sort of landscape occurred in early spring 2020. And it's been, a faster rolling event at this point. So yeah, I've taken the measures to recognize that there would be a food shortage at some point, and that I needed to, for sure, start to taper off my reliance, I guess, on food. Because you can really train your body to live on very little. I live on very little, and it's an ebb and flow. When my body needs more, I allow my body more. I let my body literally tell me what I will and will not eat. And it told me, like, it made me sick to eat meat starting. I've been a vegetarian on and off my whole life because I was raised a vegetarian, but I've had imbalances, if you will, being anemic and such. So then, moving into meat for my iron content, only to discover, because of my blood type, I am more copper-based than iron-based. And so that wasn't the problem. In any event, we have long intestines that are not designed to process meat, not only meat, but meat that has been traumatized, that has a very strong trauma-induced vibration attached to it. Having both of those energetics go into my body, my physical body began to reject meat, just like I would be sick. So I don't eat meat. It's not if somebody else eats it, that's up to them. That's their journey. That's their path. This is my journey. This is my path. I don't impose it on anyone else, and I don't judge others for their path, because we're all, it's an inside job. We're all on our own. Also, because my system is so highly sensitive, another thing that occurred, which was very organic, and how I stumbled upon GMOs to begin with, was that in 1993, I began to react to certain food products, mainly what I believed to be cheese, and what I thought I had isolated to one specific thing. And it began to kind of take over my life, to the point where I couldn't eat any of those products, any milk products, cheese products, and it wasn't a lactose intolerance. It was mucus would build up, and I wouldn't be able to breathe. And I'm a singer, so I couldn't have that. So I started cutting all these things out of my diet, only to discover, like 10 years later, that it wasn't any of that. It was when they began seeding GMOs, genetically modified organisms, into our food stream. Of course, they didn't let us know any of this for decades later, but that's when it began. And so that's when I began reacting to food. And so when I discovered GMOs, which hadn't really been in the media yet, and I then became an activist to make Monsanto accountable for what they were doing, under the guise of food production. And, I discovered what GMOs were and what they were really about. So to me, they were already beginning to target the alpha male at that point by seeding these GMOs that would target the hormonal genes. It would basically neuter males, and it would jack up the testosterone in females. So that is why they kind of created gender fluidity to mask part of what is really their eugenics genocide that they're rolling out upon us as we speak. But anyway, that said, I have also noticed with the animals that they too are not eating. And they're going through energetics where they're lethargic, and then when they're more aggressive and seem to be angry and more easily triggered, dissatisfied, whining, much like humans. So I think they're totally feeling, whatever is going on as well. So I wanted to be sure to express this because, people are feeling all kinds of different things right now physically. And I know a lot of people that are not fully awake might attribute these things to ailments and want to run to the doctor, but don't bother. You're going to waste your money, and it just gives them the opportunity to have their hands on you, to lie to you and feed you some, operation or treatment or whatever that you don't really need, that they can make money off of from the insurance companies and such. Because that's pretty much the way I think it is at this point. I have very little faith in anything or anyone but myself. I know the people that I can trust. My heart is always open, but, I see the writing on the wall because I've been warning humanity about that writing that I saw on the wall decades and decades ago. Coming right out of high school. Like, I was awake so early on in the game, and by high school I was, devoted to the mission and the cause of getting the truth out and waking people up. As a 4-year-old, I remember complete awareness of all the hypocrisies, all the injustices, but I think the hypocrisies are what really get me the most. So that's kind of what led me down the rabbit hole, starting at age 4. But I had concepts. I came here again, a fully awakened indigo. I didn't come here as a child. My perspective was not a child's perspective. It was also not a gender-based perspective. I didn't have a little girl mind. I didn't have a little boy mind. I just had a human mind. And I definitely did not do things correctly according to whatever the, system-based agendas were. So, dancing to the beat of my own drummer is a specialty of mine, and I don't listen to what people tell me. I listen to what's behind it, and I look and I research. But most importantly, I go with my gut, my instincts, which are finely tuned and balanced against a highly, highly, highly logic-based mind, very analytical mind. Yeah, so get all that stuff out of your brain. If it's in your brain telling you this or that or the other, it's not about the mind. It's not about the mind. And they want to trap you in your mind so that they can control you with mind control. So really, that's what they've mastered, and I've watched it my entire life. They have definitely managed to impart a mass psychosis, trauma-based mind control event on society. And they can see that they have half of society programmed, and the other half they don't. And that's the dilemma right now. And that means it's up to us, doesn't it? It's up to us. And we have to watch out for all their trickery, because they're going to try to trick us to do the wrong thing, to make the wrong move so they can trap us. This is a chess game for sure. And they had everything under control until, a certain person came in and changed their plans. And we were already, the star seeds had already gone through a whole cycle of beta testing. So when it came to that moment, beginning in 2017, when the the patriots, and I'm saying it oddly to avoid algorithms, but when they started waking up, that was when it went live. So that's how I found myself in that midst of things. But, growing up in Hollywood, third generation, you are just to assimilate into the democratic mind and ideology. And they literally train you this elitist mentality that everyone else is stupid and anyone Republican is stupid. They're stupid. They don't know what they're talking about. And so it's easy to see how they've groomed, their minions for sure. And, coming up in Indigo, I didn't even want to vote to begin with. I mean, like, a system like that is like, yeah, right. That's a real system, sure. So I never was of the mind that it was a balanced system that I should participate in. But you get bullied, and so I just figured I'd go along with the game. And I got ushered into, because of the celebrities that I worked for, the hierarchy of the Hollywood Dem scene. And yeah, I couldn't deal with it. I mean, it's the ego in Hollywood is bad enough, but throw that into the mix and holy cow. Yeah, that was not somewhere I was gonna go or be comfortable. But I did check it out. I went to some meetings for a while and events, and sometimes I just had to, because of my job, for my celebrities, to help manage them at those events. But the point is that I've seen a lot. Oh yeah, I've seen a lot. I've seen a lot. A lot. That said, also, I've made the choices that I've made. I disconnected, I left the city, and they kicked my ass on the way out so that I never came back, i.e. my quote-unquote accident. And then threw me in the legal system and the medical system, which is like you might as well be thrown to the wolves. And and the workers' comp system. Oh yeah, and then the bankruptcy system. I hit every system there was. Oh yes, and not to forget the divorce system. So they had me caught up in their systems for almost 15 years. And what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And that's on them. So here I am. And I come out of all that ready to rock because I know what's going on. I'm strong as an ox while everybody else is, hitting the fan. Because I already won the game. I won their marathon of hell that they waged upon me. So I'm here to help. I'm here to validate. This is happening. Just know that this is not a left thing or a right thing. That would be part of the duality, polarization that we are escaping in the Matrix. This is good versus evil. It's good versus evil if you want to level it down. But there are many, many hands in this. There's not just two agendas. There's many agendas. But it's good against evil. These physical events that you may be experiencing, be they headaches, stomach aches, nausea, your sleep patterns changing, all of this is part of the evolution of our DNA as a human species. But in that process, we are also being mass targeted. So there's disruptions being waged upon us to try to prevent these DNA upgrades from activating, to keep us at a lower frequency so that they can control us. Once you break out of the matrix and you're outside the system, they don't have control anymore. And that makes them obsolete. So they're trying to upgrade to this new operating system while the planet is upgrading her new operating system. And then we as humans are upgrading our operating system. So it's a really interesting time to be a part of this. And any soul that's here right now contracted and agreed to be here at this time. So we're all participating. We all serve a purpose. We all have a part in this. I think it's important for people to be validated and not to feel alone. Even if you are alone, I'm alone where I'm at, but I'm not alone in that I am part of a very large global system of awakened spiritual warriors like myself, all of us with a different skill set, and we maintain contact on a daily, weekly basis, weekly, if not daily, a daily, if not weekly, whatever, basis. And we are able to validate with each other and help navigate each other through this pioneering moment, because this is where we're at. This is a pioneering moment in history. What's going on has never happened before. So don't expect to have answers to all the questions, because none of us have all the answers to all the questions. It's literally a live event. There's no handbook to research. All we can do is compare notes with each other so that we know that we're on the right track. And those of us that are here participating in this part are some of the strongest resonating on this planet at this moment, at this time in human history. So that's the good part. But there's also a galactic array of beings participating here at this time, not just those of us that are working together in an alliance. There are those that, just don't serve anything but their own purpose, their own racist purpose, and are here to disrupt or exploit or hijack. So we are in a duality system, but we are multi-dimensional beings, and we're dealing with the multi-dimensions. But our eyes have only been trained, our brains have only been trained to understand duality. Duality is a polarity. It's either this or that. So it's a system. It's a very constricted system that we are expanding out of into the multiverse of awareness.